Class 10, A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. G.L. Fuentes' full name is Jorge Lopez Fuentes. He's a Mexican writer. Where is Mexico? Mexico is a Latin American country. Okay, so it's in USA. So, by God, by the word God, what do you understand? You understand someone, the omnipotent, omnipresent. Please check these words. Okay, omnipresence, omnipresence. Please go and check this word and the word almighty. Please, wherever you are using the word God, please change the word by writing these two words. Always don't write everywhere in your answers God, God and God. Please change some other words, like you can use the word omnipresence instead of God. You can use the word almighty instead of God. So as you people have two names, like you have a nickname and you have a good name, so the word God can also have separate names. Okay, omnipresence, omnipotent, almighty, the Lord. You can go and find many other words along with this and write it down. So, what do you understand by the word God? God is someone on whom we have complete faith in. Okay, so when we are in a hopeless condition, like now, you people, everyone in India is suffering, and around the world also, people are suffering from a deadly disease. So, when there is no medicine created, what people think that God will save us. Okay, so this complete faith, when we have lost everything, what we do, we have complete faith in God. And by the word letter, what do you understand by the word letter? Letter can be of two types, formal and informal. I hope you have learned this in your grammar. So formal letter is what, where you write a letter to an authority, where you don't have any personal relationship. And an informal letter is what, where you write that to your dear and close ones. So what type of relationship we have with God? Do we have a authoritative, a boss like relationship, or we have a personal like relationship where we can cry, we can laugh, and we can do anything? We have an informal relationship. So for it's you to find out that the letter that's mentioned here in the text, the letter, when it comes to your eyes, you have to see whether it's a formal letter or an informal letter. That's up to you to decide. Okay, but firstly, what we are going to, G.L. Fuentes is the author, and this text, it's set up in America. And how do you know it's set up in America? Because later on we will find what, dialects, dialects. Okay, dialects. You can see dialects are what, local language. Like for if you people speak Brajbhasha, when you're talking in Hindi, that's your local dialect. The term, those words, some changes that comes that differ from Hindi. Similarly, Latin Mexican dialect also differs from English, as Hindi and Brajbhasha differs. Similarly, from English, Mexican dialect will differ a bit. So that is the difference between dialects and a main language. Okay, so we can see, and we can see later on that how dialects are being used in the story, how we can understand that it's a Mexican story, and the setup is in Mexico, America. You can from that you can understand the climate. It's not like Indian climate. You can see mountains covered with snow there, in the setup, in the mountains there, and or cornfields there. You can see all those things there. Okay, but you can't see in India very fluently, because their cultivation and our cultivation will differ. Their temperature, their weather, and our temperature and our weather will differ. So keep in mind, it's you are not in India now. This setup is totally in a Latin Mexican country. So drive yourself there, and let's begin the story. Okay, what we see, open your books. Okay, so what we see at the beginning of the story is the house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So, first, what we see? We see a house. We see a house. The only one in the entire valley. Can you see any other house here? No. So it's a only house. It's a house. There are no other house sat on the crest of a low hill. So how the hill is? The hill is a low-heighted hill. And crest means on the top. So on the top of a low hill, because you can see mountains here. So compare these mountains with this hill. This is a low hill. So we can see the house sat on the crest, on the top of a low hill. From this height, one could see what? One could see the river. You can see a river here. From there, a river could be seen. And the field of ripe corn. You can see the field of ripe corn here dotted with flowers. See these baby flowers over here. Dotted with flowers that always promised a good harvest. So when we see in springtime, you have seen that flowers, that new leaves comes, or in after rain, what you see, very nice farmlands have grown, they're in full bloom. So after rain, what happens? If things bloom, but rain signifies what? Rain signifies that there will be harvest now, there will bloom now. And what will the farmers get from there? They will get the crops from there. They will sell these crops to us. We buy vegetables, we buy fruits, and where the money goes? The money goes back to the farmers. So the farmers work on the field all the year round. Rain comes, sunlight is there, they apply fertilizers. So sun, rain, and all those things are necessary for harvest. So as a sun, you can see a sun here, but can you see rain? No rain is seen over here up till now. Okay, so for the sun, the rain, the fertilizers, and everything, the farmers work all the year round. And after that, what happens? After rain comes, the harvest grows, and they sell cauliflowers, they sell potatoes, they sell everything to us. And what we do? We buy those things, we eat those things, we consume those things, and we give the money to the farmers. And with that money, what happens? They again buy things, they buy their clothes, they buy everything else, and their livelihood goes on like that. But if the rain doesn't come, if the farmlands don't grow well, what will happen? Will they be able to sell anything to us? No. So what will happen at that time? We will not give them money, and they will be in zero profit. And so what will happen? They will not get money to eat, they will not get money to buy things, and their family will suffer with utmost poverty. So here the house, the only one in the entire field, where the house is, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill, sat on the top of a low hill, and there was a river, a field of ripe corn dotted with flowers. The flowers were totally ready, but what it needed? It needed a downpour. Downpour means rain, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lecho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards northeast. What is expected? It is expected that the rain will come from northeast. You can see Lencho was the owner of the cornfield. Okay, the main character is who? The main character is Lencho. Lencho had a son, had a wife, and had a cornfield, had a house. So Lencho lived there with his family. Where Lencho lived? In this house. His wife was preparing supper. Supper means dinner. And the older boys were working on the field, and the smaller ones were playing near the house. So throughout the morning, what did Lencho do? Who knew his plans intimately? Intimately means closely, very closely. Like you are close to your best friends, you know him intimately, you know her intimately. So in that way, Lencho knew his field intimately. You know your mother intimately, you know your sister, brother, father intimately. Don't you know them closely? Similarly, Lencho knows his field intimately. Maybe you know a subject very closely, very intimately, like the way you people treat your study materials. Like you people are totally dependent on your study material. You are studying at this stage, so what is the thing you worship now? Your books. So similarly, as you people are dependent on your books, your main work is to study. Similarly, the farmer's main work is to sow. Okay, sow the land. So as you people treat your books and materials with a high respect, similarly Lencho knew his fields intimately and he was totally dependent on that. Okay, the Lencho, the farmer, lived on the only house that was there on the top of the hill. The hill was low heighted. Okay, first point is there was top of the hill, second point is the hill was low heighted, and from there what could be seen? A river could be seen, and a ready to harvest cornfield was seen, and the field belonged to Lencho, and he had the utmost confidence that his harvest would reap great profits. The only thing that he awaited was what? Rainfall. So what did he do? He used to look at his fields in the north, he looked at the sky in the northeast, and he was waiting for the rain for these corns to be harvested properly. The only thing was awaited was the rainfall. In this hope, he spent his entire morning gazing at the sky in the northeast direction from where a drizzle was expected to shower on his field. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, yes, God willing. So the woman was his wife, was preparing supper. Supper means what? Dinner. The woman was preparing dinner, and Lencho, what was Lencho talking about? Lencho was expecting some water, some rain. So his wife, what his wife replied? His wife replied, yes, God willing, means if God wishes, you will get the rain. Like what we say, if God wishes, we will world will get cured of this disease. Similarly, if God wishes, Lencho will get the rain. Okay. The older birds were working in the field, while the smaller ones, what were they doing? They were playing near the house until the woman called to them all. Look at your book. Come for dinner. It was during the meal that, just as Rencho predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. So, house, cornfield in need of rain. The cornfield was his only source of income. He was looking towards the northeast sky, and finally rain arrived. It was during the meal that, as Lencho has predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In northeast sky, what was seen? Huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have pleasure of feeling of rain on his body. Okay, the man went out for no other reason. Like what happens when there after you witness a hot and humid summer here? What happens when you see rain? You go for a shower in the rain. You go and enjoy the rain. Similarly, it was a waiting condition for Lencho. The farmer was totally waiting for the rain to fall, and so when rain came, he was very happy and he went to feel that rain, because those rain will actually, what I said you, the farmer, after rain comes, the farmer could rip the farmer cut the vegetables and sell to us. So in that manner, he was expecting the rain to come. So when he saw the rain, he was very happy, because his mind map would follow. He would now go and pick up the vegetables, he would sell them, and his family will be in good condition. So he was very happy and he was enjoying. So the man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure. He was very happy, so he went to feel that pleasure of the feeling of the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, what? These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. He compared the raindrops to new coins, like big drops are 10-cent pieces and little ones are 5s. He compared the big raindrops to 10-cent pieces, means like as for example 10 rupees, and little ones as 5, because the big drops will create more water. The big drops contains more water, and then the harvest will be better. And the little ones, he was very happy. But suddenly what happened? Suddenly, with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. What are hailstones? Hailstones are frozen water, frozen raindrops. When the raindrops get frozen, it converts itself into hailstones. Began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. Here, the author sarcastically, S-A-R, sir, C-A-S, sarcastically, S-A-R-C, sir, S-A-R-C-A-S-T-I-C, sarcastic, okay, sarcastic. Let me write it for you. Sarcastic. In a sarcastic manner, sarcastic means jokingly. In a sarcastic manner, the author here tells that the hailstones resemble new silver coins. like they would give you more money, like that sort of a mentality the author is showing, but it's actually she's showing this jokingly, because the hailstones, frozen rain, can never create good harvest. So we can see rain, we can see big drops being compared to 10 pieces, 10 pesos, and small drops with 5 paisa. We can see hailstone coming, and the hailstones are being compared to what? Silver coins. Okay, with a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flower draped in a curtain of rain. He saw it was totally in a curtain of rain, but the strong wind began to blow, and very big hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys were exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Okay, the hailstones again are compared to pearls because they look like that, they look like pearls. You can search for hailstones and see how hailstones look. Okay, this is your duty. So you will do search for omnipresence. What is the meaning of omnipresence? You will search for the word omnipotent, you will search for the word almighty lord. Now you will search for what? How hailstones look. Now what happens? Look at your book. It's really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. I hope it passes quickly. It did not pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with snow. The field was totally covered with snow. It was covered with salt. It looked like that. It was totally white. Okay. So what happens? The farmer now starts worrying and hopes the storm gets over. Which, but what happens? The storm does not get over, and he is at most disappointed. Okay. The hailstones covered the entire valley, including the house, the garden, the hillside, and the cornfield. It made everything look so white that it seemed as if it was covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the tree. The corn was totally destroyed. Can you see any leaf over here? No leaf. So the corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field. When the storm has gone, look, Lencho is in the middle of the field and he is sad. And he said to his sons, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. Okay, what are locusts? Locusts are insects which fly in groups, okay, and destroy crops. And what is a plague? Plague is a plague is something a destructively numerous inflow of multiplication of harmful animals. Okay, infestation. Plague means infestation. It's you can say very easily that it's like a sort of disease. Okay, sort of disease which the insect actually does what? They come in group and destroy the field. The plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail was left nothing. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. So what does no corn means? No corn means no selling of corn. No selling of corn means no buying of corn by people like us. No buying of corn by people like us means we will not give them money. And if we don't give them money, what will happen? They will go hungry. So what's written that this year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. They worked the whole year round, but everything was destroyed, and there was no one who can help us. We'll all go hungry this year. They will starve. They're in such a condition. Okay. Lencho became stressed and disappointed as everything went against the plan. The trees had shed their leaves, corns were smashed, and the flowers had also fallen from the plants. While standing in the withered field, standing in the middle of the field, standing on the destroyed field, he conveyed, he told his about his emotions, that is sorrow, to his son. Okay, by commenting that the effect of the storm, the effect that the storm created, what the effect the storm created, it was more destroyed. It was more destroying. It was worse than what? Than that of the crop destroying insects, than that of the crops that are destroyed by insects. Like this hailstorm comparison is here between the destruction created by the hailstones and the destruction that the locust insects creates. Okay, the locust insects also leaves something good, but Here the hailstones had destroyed everything. He felt helpless as no corn had been left and feared that they might have to starve this time. But But what happened? But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, in the hearts of all those who lived in the solitary house, where is the house? Let us see. Here is the house on a low hill. River was there, cornfield was there. It was in need of a downpour or rain. The woman was preparing supper, the boys were playing and working in the field. Lencho's only source of income was the cornfield. He was dependent on the cornfield, so he used to look at the northeast sky for the rain. Rain came and big drops began to fall. Big drops are compared to 10-cent pieces, smaller ones to 5. Hailstones began to come, which were compared to new silver coin, and the field was like that, as if it was totally covered with salt. Everything was destroyed. A plague of locusts would still give something. There was something remaining if the plague of locusts would come, but here the hailstone has destroyed everything. So Lencho had faith in God, the last hope when nothing is there. What do? People have faith in God. But in the heart of who lived in the solitary house, Lencho and his family, in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. Okay. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's why they say no one dies of hunger. Even after everything had gone southwards, gone wrong, gone totally destroyed, the family still had hope in their hearts. Okay, they had faith in the Almighty even after nothing was left. They gave each other support and recalled a saying which assures that no one ever dies of starvation. All through the night, Lencho thought only of this one hope. What he thought? He thought of the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything. What did Lencho knew about God? If someone asks you what was the concept of God to Lencho, you can write this line. All through the night, Lencho thought of only one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed from when we are a child, we are told, no, God sees everything. You do the right thing, God sees. If you do the wrong thing, God sees. So Lencho, as he says, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's consciousness. Whatever there is in your heart, also, even if something bad is there, good is there, even we can't hear it, that God hears. Okay, Lencho was an ox of man. Ox of man means very hard working. He was hard working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to write. Okay, he was a working man. He used to work in the field, but he knew how to write. The following Sunday, the next Sunday that followed, what happened? At a daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place it in the mail. If nothing, it was nothing else than what? Than a letter to God. Conscience means an inner sense of right and wrong. Okay, ox of man means hardworking. Daybreak means the time in the morning when daylight first appears. So what happened? Lencho spent his entire night thinking of the only option left. When there is no option left, what we do? We turn to God. So left, and that was to seek the help of God, who had been informed that its eyes and ears are everywhere. He thought of writing a letter to God conveying his grievances. Despite spending all these years working at the farm, he still knew how to write. Like you people know how to study, and except that you people also may know someone can know singing, someone can know dancing, someone can know playing cricket or football. So that is the thing, we are multi-talented people. Many people are multi-talented. So he knew how to work, how to write, both things simultaneously. Okay, despite spending all these years working at the farm, he still knew how to write. He started writing on the Sunday morning and thought of mailing it himself by going to the town. Okay, what he wrote? He wrote, God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos. Okay, so I was telling you about dialect, pesos. Pesos is the basic monetary unit of Mexico. Okay, several other Latin American countries and the Philippines also use the word pesos. Like we use rupees, they use pesos. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes. So he need the money to live. He need the money to sow again. Okay, so what he writes, if you don't help me, if God doesn't help me, what will happen? My family and I will go hungry this year. As I told you, the circle, he will sell the crops, he will provide money, he will live. So that circle is broken now. So he needs money again to sow his crops and to live until the crop comes because of the hailstorms. He wrote to God on the envelope. What he wrote? To God on the envelope and put the letter inside, and still troubled went to the town. At the post office he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it in the mailbox. Okay, in his letter to God, he communicated his poverty stricken situation and mentioned that he needed 100 pesos to regenerate the crops along with surviving until they are ready to harvest. He needs some money to survive, and he needs money to sow the crops again. How much money he needs? He needs 100 pesos. What is pesos? Pesos is a currency, Mexican currency. It's also used in Latin American countries and Philippines. What he wrote on the envelope? He wrote to God, and at the post office, what he did? He placed stamp on the letter and dropped it in the mailbox. One of the employees who was a postman, so what he did at the post office, he placed a stamp and dropped it in the mailbox. So what happened at the post office? At the post office, look at your book. One of the employees who was a postman and also helped at the post office went to his boss laughingly, heartily, and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. What was written as an address? It was written to God. So the postman never saw this. Have you ever seen anyone write a letter to God? No. So that is the thing. This address is unseen. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postman, a fat, amiable fellow. Amiable means friendly and pleasant. Okay, the boss was pleasant and friendly. Postman, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. He was also laughing. For well, they are laughing because they are joking. They are taking it as a mockery. Because why? Because they have never seen such an address. If someone writes to God, you have never seen that address, so they are laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on his desk commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter." Starting up a correspondence with God. Correspondence means communication by exchanging of letters with someone. Okay, a postman, that means who was an employee in the post office, noticed Lencho's letter. The letter that Lencho wrote to God. Why Lencho wrote? Because asking for 100 pesos for survival. And what did the postman do after seeing the letter? He showed it to the postmaster. They both felt amused, but the postmaster, a fat and friendly fellow, immediately developed a sense of seriousness. And after developing the sense of seriousness, he was astounded. Okay, he was amazed at the amount of faith Lencho has in God, that he is writing a letter. We can pray to God, but we have never thought of writing something to God. So this was really an amazing thing, and he was very clean hearted. You can see how clean heart is. Like a Lencho is like a baby. His heart is so clear that he writes a letter to God. He thinks that God exists in this world. He thinks that he will read a letter. So he's a very clear hearted person. Okay, so for character analysis, add these things that you can feel that Lencho is a very clear hearted person, that Lencho has in God, and wished the amiable fellow what he wished that he also had the same amount of feelings for God. So now look at your book again. So in order to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answering the letter. Okay, he will answer